Hello and welcome back to the channel. Up on the bench today is an Amstrad PC1512. This is the 1512 HD20. It's got a hard drive and it's got a 5.5-inch floppy drive. It also has a PC-MM monochrome CGA monitor. This lot came from We Love CRTs. David, thank you very much for keeping it from one side for me. Yeah, I've had, this is one of my first PCs. I had the PC1640, and I had a hard drive at the back, which goes into the slot at the back. And that was my very first PC in 1980, wow, 87, 88, something like that. I've got a real soft spot for these. These are quaint. They're remarkably reliable. They generally are quite good. Quite a lot of them have survived. This was about to be turfed out because, again, it just didn't work. So, again, on the top of this monitor here, the guys at We Love CRT have put a label saying no power. I haven't turned this on yet. So we do have a floppy disk, which has seen better days inside this. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. What I want to do is, if this works, is to, hopefully the hard drive works and the monitor works, everything all works, then I'm going to upgrade it to 640k. I'm going to do quite a few upgrades to this to try and get this as good as possible. I will be attacking the monitor and replacing capacitors and doing stuff to basically prolong the life of the monitor. The one thing with these PCs is that the base unit is powered via the monitor. So you can actually create adapter cables to power this separately, and you have to put a separate video card into it. You can do it through the DIN socket as well. It's got a very odd RGB and composite arrangement for the output. These are great little machines. These really are fun to resurrect. I did do one about 3 or 4 years ago. I had one, and I didn't have it on any YouTube channels, so I didn't have the channel before then. And I eventually sold it for, I think it was about £150 or something like that. But that had a lot of work done to it, and it was a 1640. I've never owned a 1512, but as I said, I've had the 1640. These were one of the cheapest ways to get into the PC market in the UK and Europe. There's lots of people out there who've done lots with it, so I'm not going to go into the history. Go out to YouTube, search for PC 1640 or 1512, and you'll get people who could dive into the history. I'm not going to do the history side of things. But these were a low budget, low cost entry point into PC ownership. And they were wildly successful. They really did mobilise a lot of Europe and the UK with getting into PCs. Now, these were sold at the same time as the Amstrad PCW range. But the PCW range had a different clientele. They had people who wanted to replace word processors. These were much more capable. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and power it up, see what happens. If it does power up as well. And again, they've said there's no power on this. I have a funny feeling that the monitor will only work when it's plugged into the base. It's got a signal, so that'll be, yeah, that's my gut instinct on that one. So let's power it up, let's see what happens. I've got no idea about this. I do know that there is the hard drive controller, the MFM or RL controller, and I think we've got a modem of some sort in the back here. So let's go around the whole machine and have a quick look. I'll put you on a hand cam, and I'll do some, and let's have a look around the whole machine. The functionality of the machine is quite basic. It came with either two 5.25-inch floppy drives, or with this one, which is the HD20, came with a separate hard drive in here. People have upgraded the floppy drives to 3.5-inch floppy, which is what I'm going to be doing. I don't want anything to do with 5.25-inch discs, purely because they just fail. Every PC I've had with these, it just fails. So 3.5-inch floppy will go there. I might even put a Gotek, I'm not sure yet. Let's see if it works. The Amstrad PC is the monochrome monitor, monochrome CGA, so you do get grayscale. It's not Hercules, just pure black and white. On the front, it's pretty straightforward. There's just a floppy drive and the hard drive. There's no controls on the front at all. Let's turn it round. On the side here, we've got a brightness and a contrast on the side of the monitor. And then here, there actually was a flap here, like there's a flap here. That would have covered this, but it's got a modem, and it's got a UK plug connection there for a telephone. And I can see some sort of hard drive board there. So it had 3 slots, 3 ISA slots across there. If we go around, it gets a bit more interesting. Let's see whether we can get these cables out of the way. So we've got a DC in here, video out, parallel, printer and serial. And that's pretty much it on the back. Then at the top here we have a cover, if I can just pull that off without breaking it. And here we have where all the cards go in to, and this is the expansion. So at the moment we've got a hard drive controller. This looks like a modem of some sort. We can find out what that is later. There's the label on the back, Amstrad Consumer Electronics, model PC1512 SD. Now PC1512 SD means that this was a single disc unit, and I have a feeling either somebody's replaced the front label or it was sent out with just the standard 1512 sticker, and the label on the front was changed. So again, we've got 5 volt and 12 volt. It takes batteries. I'll show you that at some point. Hard disk DC output. Yeah, so it's not a huge amount of power that goes out of this. On the monitor itself, we've got 2 cables that come out, both DIN plugs, proprietary to the Amstrad. So you can't really use this monitor for anything else. There's a horizontal hold and a vertical hold here. If we turn this round, then on the side here we have a speaker volume, which PC's never had, but that's quite useful, I remember that. Keyboard connector, which is again a DIN socket, and then a mouse connector. So the Amstrad came with mouse because it came with GemDOS, which is pretty much similar or the same as the OS which was on the Atari ST. And that's pretty much it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this monitor off and we'll have a look at the top. As you can see, you've actually got a recess, and that's where the monitor goes. And then we have the CMOS batteries, and these were AA batteries, which you could use. You could use ordinary AA batteries. There was no coin cells or anything like that. And yeah, that's how you powered your CMOS and your clock. If we have a look inside there, as you can see that we've got the 3 slots, 2 of them used. There's that card there. And again, you've got the screws here to basically hold everything down. To take the cover off the machine, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws to take off, and then the whole cover physically pulls off, leaving the base unit. So what I'll do is I'll just put you back on the stand. Let's take this cover off and let's have a look inside. Here's the inside. So we've got floppy disk drive here, hard drive here. It's a 3.5-inch hard drive in a 5.25-inch caddy. We've got the MFM or RL controller. I think this might be an RLL, Western Digital controller. We've got 3 slots here. Now, from memory, the PC1640 had a separate slot on the inside, so you could hide away the hard drive part here and the controller and still have the access to 3. We've got a 5 and 12 volt line here. So if I take that out, that's the fan which goes underneath the hard drive, and there was a whole controversy about this, about people saying that these machines overheated. They didn't, and Alan Sugar and Amstrad had to put a fan underneath the hard drive to prove to people that actually no, they didn't overheat. If they wanted to, what was it he said? If they want a fan, we'll give them a fan. If they want it painted in pink spots, we'll give it to them in pink spots. So yeah, so that's the hard drive. Again, the MFM RLL has got a data and a control line. We've got standard Molex connections on this. This hard drive looks like it's actually loose inside the machine, so I don't know what that's about. This does come off, if I do remember how to do it. No, I don't want to break it. There's no point in actually trying to get this working because I don't really want to use it. But that's it really. It's pretty straightforward. So what I'll do is I'm going to put it back together again. Let's see whether this actually spins up and works. It'll be quite interesting to see. So if I just put that back in, there we go, like that. And then I've got to lay that back in to put the cover on, because you can't take the cover off with this in place. That was the whole point of putting that extra ISA slot in there. We do have an Amstrad PC modem, MC2400 ISA card. It looks quite sun bleached on one end. Got a speaker there. This would have been used in the day to get onto some bulletin board systems and stuff like that before the internet, so that really won't be going back in. That's probably going to be discarded to one side. It might still work, I don't know. I could even try to see whether I can get it working. Somebody's cut the cable off. So yeah, on the hard drive here we have, somebody's written a thing saying formatted with command.com RLL type drive, parked, toasted or toasted, I don't know, and 27th of 4th 89, so 27th of April 1989, which is actually today's the 1st of April, so it's not that far off that date. These have a spindle here to actually move the heads back and forth, and these often actually get seized up. I won't try to turn it. We'll let it see whether it will do it itself. I might even actually leave the cover off and actually we can see whether it actually spins up. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what happens. If this thing doesn't work, it doesn't work, then I've got to try and fix it. So let's see whether we even get any power to it, and yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, well the label on top here says no power. Let's apply power, and let's turn on, see what happens. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, we have something. I can hear the hard drive, I can hear the power, and we have something on screen. Please wait. Okay. Looks like it's trying to boot from the hard drive, but I've got a strong suspicion that hard drive doesn't work. Hasn't complained about it. It is 512K. Set time and date, set user options, please fit new batteries, check keyboard and mouse. Well, I don't have a keyboard, that's on order from eBay. So it's a stock standard 512, so it hasn't been upgraded, and that's it really. No sign of any life from either. So if we power it off, please wait, I can see the spindle on the hard drive spinning around over there. I'm getting nothing from the floppy drive, it's just trying to go straight to hard drive, but it is failing. So we have a working machine in terms of it actually powers up and posts and tries to do things. That's cool. Okay. So let me get you and have a look at the actual hard drive, and you'll see the actual spindle spinning. Okay, cool, right. Okay, so I'm going to switch the power on and let's see what that spindle does. There we go. Oh, it's spinning, it's doing stuff. And then I think that's about it. Often those spindles get stuck and the hard drive struggles to boot. The hard drive light is on and it's flickering, but so I think that actually it has failed. I definitely think it's failed. It may not have an OS on it and it's just failing. So, and I don't have a 5¼ inch floppy to boot this up with. What we can do is have a look at the floppy drive. Oh no, hang on, we've got something slightly different. We have hard disk drive not ready, and then we've got down here a flashing light, and that is pretty much the hard drive just unable to spin up. In fact, that disk isn't actually spinning up. That's interesting. Okay. Right, okay. Let me power it up without the connections on. That's blanking, by the way. This whole thing, as you can see, it's blanking. The frequency of the camera is slightly different from the monitor. That's nothing to do with the PC. Okay, let's spin that hard drive up separately. So I've taken the hard drive controller out. I've unplugged and plugged the power connections in again, just to make sure they're all good. The hard drive is sitting there, and it should spin up. So let's see what happens. Here we go. That's spinning up okay. That is spinning now. So it had switched off the hard drive when it couldn't boot up from it. Interesting. Alright, let's have a look at the floppy disk drive and see whether there's any belts or anything going on with that. Okay, let's power this up and let's see whether the disk rotates. There is a belt on there, it seems okay, so let's bring that up. There we are. Please wait. Does it spin? Looks like that spins, but it's not reading. Okay, what I might do is clean the heads and see what happens. So this disc is quite manky, but let's take off this plate here. Is this a dual head or single? It is a dual head, double-sided disc. Okay, cool. Isopropanol and a couple of Q-tips, and let's have a go at. Does this move? Yeah, that moves quite nicely. Okay. Okay, let's see whether we can get underneath that. Now this disc looks absolutely terrible, so what I'm going to do, we shouldn't really do this, but I've got nothing to lose, is to very gently clean up the disc. Come on, there we go. It'll probably ruin the disc, but it doesn't matter. I have rescued discs like this before, being water damaged, and you manage to read it a few times to get the data off. quite a bit of dirt came off of that. So let's put that back in and try it again. Let's just looks like it doesn't like that. That seems absolutely fine. So, okay, let's put the disc back in. The disc from the bottom of the sea. No, that disc is dead. Dead ski. Either dead or blank. Either one. Okay. I tried. I did try. I'm going to go and order a XT IDE, and I've got a couple of floppies. I do need to convert the cable so that you can take a 3.5 inch floppy. Yeah, let's get this back together again, but in case I'm not going to use it, but let's get the machine back together again. So this hard drive I think is dead. They do go die, and they die on quite a regular basis, these things. Western Digital WD582R. Had no bad sectors, but yeah, I think it's dead ski. I think it's gone. So let's put this back in. I'm going to use an XT IDE and then link into the LED light on the front there, because I only really want to use one floppy drive with this, not two. And we then got the hard drive controller. Plug in. Let's power up and see what we get. Plug that back, put that back in. So we can't take it much further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a clean up, and let's try to make it presentable. That's looking better. I need to clean up the inside of that, so see what we can do with it. Just a bit of okay, so it's clean, much cleaner, looking better. It is sun faded on one side, so it's sort of slightly yellow on one side. Let's power it up. Yeah, that hard drive is not spinning up properly, so I've got the XT IDE on order. I've got a floppy drive, which I'm going to swap out with that, a 3.5 inch floppy drive, which I'll swap out with that. So yeah, well, this is a first good look at, see what we've got, and then the next few videos will be okay, how do we actually put it's a XT IDE which you have to build yourself and solder yourself, so we'll do that. Yeah, hard drive not ready. And so we're gonna, the next couple of videos on this will be building it up and upgrading the RAM, taking the motherboard out, giving it a clean, and yeah, take it from that. But it's great, it works. It means that we've got something to work with on the channel, and yeah, it's nice to have one of these again. I might look out for a 1640, but yeah, it's great. So thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe if you like this type of content, and I will see you on the next video.